Welcome back to Health and Human Rights Strategies YouTube channel. I'm Nicole, the founder and president of HHR. This week, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, sleep. You see, it's been well documented that sleep plays a fundamental role in overall mental health and physical health. For younger people, children and teens, sleep is instrumental in brain development. In adults, sleep allows our immune system to fight infection and literally heal our brains and bodies, as well as prepare us for the next day. Now, although we often think of sleep as a time of rest, sleep is actually a very active period in which a lot of vital processing, restoration, and strengthening occurs. However, during times of uncertainty and environmental change, our sleep patterns can be greatly impacted for better or for worse. And the start of 2020 has certainly had its fair share of uncertainty and change. So stick around as we explain why it's not only okay that you've been sleeping more, but it's fantastic. And be sure to click subscribe down in the corner so that you get updates whenever we're answering your questions and talking about your health. New data from smartwatches and sleep trackers suggests that due to the coronavirus and work from home and quarantine procedures, Americans are doing an estimated 40% less physical activity than normal, which is not a good thing. But they're also spending almost 20% more time asleep, which could be a very good thing. On one hand, there are those who find that working from home facilitates a greater ability to nap when convenient and sleep during non-traditional scheduled hours. But it's also a matter of time allocation. According to the data, amongst the 4 states that have experienced more than a 25% increase in time asleep, 2 of those states, Maryland and New Jersey, rank in the top 3 for commute length, which means we're using our time differently. On the other hand, there are those who experience stress from changes in routine and lose sleep worrying about forces that are out of their control, or those who have disrupted sleep patterns that can be harmful to self-healing. In fact, sleep is so powerful, research shows long-term sleep loss has been reported to make vaccines less effective. But it's important for those who fall into the second category to know that sleep is not only important physically, but also mentally. And although it may be hard to fall asleep, it could be exactly what you need to help with the current anxiety or the circumstances that you're dealing with. Okay, but why is sleep so important? Well, in all humans, sleep is a necessary function for healthy growth and development. You see, your muscles grow, your cells repair, and your body fights infection while you're asleep. Sleep literally promotes overall healing and protects the body and brain. Sleep is even involved in how the heart and blood vessels repair themselves, as well as encoding memories and improving your learning. These implications mean that basically getting enough sleep increases your ability to stay focused. It increases your ability to make decisions. And it even increases your ability to be creative. When one doesn't get enough sleep, your heart is at an increased risk of high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, and even heart disease. Because sleep regulates hormones, there is also evidence that people with sleep deficiencies are at a greater risk of being overweight. This can often begin even in the teenage years. Chronic or lifelong disruptions in sleep have also been linked to things like depression, risk-taking behaviors, and a myriad of other issues associated with learning, thinking, working, and reacting. Long-term memory issues are also associated and sometimes worsened by lack of sleep. According to the National Institute of Health's director, Dr. Francis Collins, he says poor sleep or loss of sleep has previously been associated with the spread of toxic proteins and worsening memory loss in people with Alzheimer's disease. And in a recent blog post for the NIH, he noted that new fMRI research suggests that not only is sleep good for us, but it triggers rhythmic waves of blood and cerebrospinal fluid. So really what that means is it appears to function much like a washing machine's rinse cycle, which may help to clear the brain of toxic waste on a regular basis. So it's not just about the length of life, but the quality of life that improves with optimal sleep. And in a situation like the world is facing today, any and all means of improving health is necessary. So, what that means is that if you're losing less hours of sleep sitting on public transportation or in your car and using those hours for sleep, you're actually doing yourself a favor. And you could just be making yourself healthier. What's important is knowing that brain development and physical maturation are greatly influenced by your need to sleep. It's also important to note that that varies based on several things, including factors such as age, health, your routine, eating patterns, substance use, even access to light can change how much sleep you need. Of those, however, age is the easiest to use as a proxy for optimal sleep time. So, we took some of the data and we put it together. And according to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine and the American Academy of Pediatrics, here are some of the categories for how long you should sleep a day. In infants less than 12 months old, 12 to 16 hours a day. That sounds nice. In children 1 to 2, 11 to 14 hours of sleep per day is optimal. For children 3 to 5, 10 to 13 hours a day. Now all of this includes naps. For children who are 6 to 12, about 9 to 12 hours a day. Teens should get about 8 to 10 hours a day. And for anyone over the age of 18, it's recommended to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep per day. While the world continues to change our day-to-day lives in unprecedented ways and disrupt our normal routines, it is vital to our emotional well-being, our physical and mental health, that we make sleep and good sleep a priority. Our ability to manage daily stresses as well as fight diseases depends, in some ways, on our immune system and our body being in optimal shape. So for you, that means giving yourself a break. Don't be too hard on yourself and make sleep a top priority. Instead of commuting, instead of dealing with other things, use those extra few hours a day to do what your body really needs you to do. Sleep.